Daenerys Targaryen might be the dumbest character in all of Game of Thrones. And let's just focus on season 1, and mostly the show too. And the books, she's dumb as well, but really, season 1, Game of Thrones, the dumbest character. And on top of it, her actions lead to the death of her husband and most of her Dothraki tribe.
Yeah, man, dude. Daenerys Slowborn, man. 0 of brains, the unlearnt. She sucks. I think that she's way too stand for in the, especially when season 1, like, if you're watching this and you see the way that she kind of interacts with the world and sees cause and effect, it just doesn't make any sense. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. You know what I'm saying? Somehow she doesn't make that connection. And, you know, we've done this video before, not the exact same video. But we did a similar video kind of going over these same things. We weren't quite satisfied with it because we like to do these, you know, longer discussions rather than like a video essay, which is what we did. We scripted it out and everything. We don't usually script our videos, but we wanted to redo it for you guys here and for us too, because we wanted to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, we didn't realize how many Dany fans are out there that are mentally unwell, but hopefully they'll come to this video and comment down below. First, comment down below right now. Let us know what you think of Dany right now.
Yeah, tell us. Dude, these men, they see themselves in the character, dude.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
representation for them. It's representation.
But the whole thing is we're focusing on the show version versus the book. In the book, she's 14. In the show, she's 16, but she's played by Emilia Clarke, who's older than that in the show, right? So you also have this kind of older actress playing a 16-year-old who in the books is 14. So a lot of people are kind of like, their minds are, I don't know, trying to understand, like, is this...
What is
like,
going on?
Well, she looks like... Okay, Emilia Clarke, like, I don't know, she's not that good of an actress. Let me know down in the comments. What do you think of Emilia Clarke's acting abilities? I was never a big fan of it. I don't think Kit Harington's acting abilities were all that good in early seasons of Game of Thrones.
They have braces teeth and big lips, like... That's all you need, right?
Yeah, I guess. But okay. Right.
Hold on, wait. Before you put to this point, just like our other video, we're gonna divide this into 2 parts. There's gonna be 2 sections to this. One is gonna be a cultural one, sort of. And one is gonna be about her family. So,
okay, yeah.
Culture one first. Here we go. Part 1.
The culture with the Dothraki, right? Now, so we see,
Yes.
Let's go in chronological order with Dany here, right? She is married off to Khal Drogo, and she goes to this wedding and witnesses, I mean, I don't think it's grape, but it's definitely not like, it might be, you know, sexual, you know, SA. I don't want to get
SA,
yeah, I don't want to get our video like struck here, but yeah, she witnesses at least SA going on there. And then later that night, she gets, you know, graped by her husband because she's saying no. And then he's basically just saying like,
oh yeah, she gets taken to pound school, dude. Absolutely. This, so I feel bad.
So she sees it kind of, and then is a victim of it. And then, you know, she kind of falls in love with Khal Drogo. She becomes part of the Dothraki culture. She goes from, like, hating horse jerky to then eating a whole horse heart in front of everybody. Okay, so let's just look at that. So she witnesses it, actually is a victim of it, and now it's part of the Dothraki culture, right? So at this point, what do you think really is her, like, idea of what the Dothraki do to women that they are enemies of? Right? Like,
well, correct. No, exactly. She witnesses, and I disagree with you earlier. I think she absolutely has witnessed legitimate grape, like full frontal, full backle, right? Back shots, just clap, clap, clap. Like, these guys are taking all women of the village to pound school. They're executing all the men. The children, I don't even know what they're doing with them, right? Who knows? I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But she's witnessed this many times. She herself was graped by the leader of her new culture, right? The leader of her tribe. So clearly, if everybody's leading by example, this is how they view the interactions with women. Not to mention, how many slaves do they have traveling with them? Prosty slaves.
Yes.
Right? They're prostitutes / slaves. She talks to them. These are like the people that are kind of teaching her the ways. Like, absolutely, they know what's going on here. Jorah also is probably not going to leave her in the dark. This is months later now.
Well, yeah, and then she, you know, eventually has this kind of loving, what do you want to say, Stockholm Syndrome relationship with Khal. And that they've kind of like are more of an intimate relationship, right? She like goes on top versus just does a doggy style, which, come on, dude, get it from the back every time. No, I mean, I guess she can ride. That's okay. But any missionary stuff,
it's gotta be a squat. It's gotta be like an ass to grass, like Olympic squat with the barbell on the back. Just like picture that, and that's okay. Otherwise, no go.
But our biggest issue about this whole thing is when there's an attempt assassination on her, right? She comes back to, you know, the Dothraki tents, and Drogo makes this big announcement that he beforehand was like, Westeros, I really don't care about this iron chair. Like, he's just kind of like, it's just baffling his mind about why does anyone care about this chair, like the Iron Throne, right? Eventually now, after this failed assassination attempt on his wife, he's like, you know what? We are going to go over there, and my son will sit this Iron Throne, or we'll come over there and conquer all of it. We're going to kill the men, and we're going to grape all of the women. And Dany, knowing their language, so she's not like some fly on the wall, kind of like, I have no idea, like looking all doe-eyed. She fully understands what he's saying. She's witnessed it and has been a victim to it, and sees, Drogo talking about this, and at no point does it ever like phase her, like, maybe we're going a little too extreme here. At that point, I'm talking about.
Yeah, she hears it. Sounds good, honey. I support you. She's an idiot. Okay, that's her voice for this video. Sounds good, honey. I love you so much. Please give me a kiss. Give me a kiss on my love mouth.
But she does have an issue with it in episode 8, though. I think that's the episode, or it's episode 7 or 8.
In episodes, either episode 7 or 8. They pull up on the village with Mary Mazder. They pull up on this wicked witch. Dude, yeah, she is dumpy, man. She is the witch. The witch. What'd you say in the last video, man? The Wicked Witch of the Thick?
Yeah.
Dude, absolutely the Wicked Witch of the Thick. They pull up in this place, and what happens? It's exactly what we can only assume has been happening the entire time that Dany has been riding with these guys. The men go ham in this place. They kill all the men inhabiting the village.
Yeah.
They grape the women. Again, I don't know what's happening with the children, but they're planning on. And Daenerys just freaks out. She freaks out. What?
The children are tied up. Like there's clearly
right.
something going
on. I don't know what's going to happen with them. They're going to take them as slaves, or they're going to kill them, or I don't know what's going on there. But the bottom line, we're witnessing some graping of women, or at least the precursor to the graping. It gets obvious, and it's almost like Daenerys like wakes up. It's like she's been unconscious for the last 8 months. She's like, oh, what? Sees the graping and says like, wait a minute. We don't do that, do we? That's not right. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Knock that shit off. And it acts like it's such a horrible thing, like she's never seen this before in her life. She witnessed it herself, and she outlaws it right there as if it's the worst. Does she know somebody in this village, and she sees them like, oh, fuck, I have to put on a show like I really care about this stuff? Like, does she know somebody that she hasn't seen in a few years? What's going on here?
Yeah, that would make more sense, because bad look if I'm going to be supporting the rapist around here. Better do a little quick show of genuine interest on people's well-being.
I'm not on
here.
Team Grape, I swear.
This is the first time me hearing about that, even though my husband talked about this a little bit ago.
I hate grape.
Stop. Now, I know.
I don't love it.
There was something. Oh, yeah. Well, first off, the Mary Mazder thing, and we'll go into that a little bit, too, because that her line of logic, something broke in her brain. Like you said, she woke up. I think her brain broke because before that, she was all about the Dothraki culture. Now she's like, oh, I don't think we should be doing this. I don't think we should be graping these women. And like, okay, as a person who's, me and you, it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be graping those people. But you're part of this culture, and you're like buying in on everything. For you just also do it like, a flip like this, it makes no sense at all. And the whole thing is she's trying to save the women. She doesn't even go after the children. You'd think she'd be like, hey, listen, don't enslave these children. The children should be, taken in by us. But, she immediately just goes to the women to save them. And then for some reason she thinks that, saving Mary Mazdur, she's also going to just be this like nice caretaker for her husband that eventually gets cut. And the whole reason why, Drogo gets cut is because she's trying to stop this whole graping going on, right? It says the soldier that goes like, hey, listen, I get a little pussy pie. I was a good boy out there. I was,
PP.
I did my work. So let me get a little action. And then, Drogo's like, fine, my wife's getting in the way. I'll stand up. I get cut. And then she's like, no, you got to take care of this cut, please. Don't let this witch that you were just about to enslave help you. That's another line of logic. Like, doesn't make any sense at all, right?
Well, it's one maybe like if Dany, this would be like a dimension to her character, is if she was just putting up with all this the whole time, but she secretly hated and resented Khal Drogo for the graping and all this stuff. And so this is like a long con, and she intentionally had Mary Mazder, who by no logic would ever be in good faith like helping Khal Drogo after what he did to her village. So like Daenerys has intentionally brought like a wicked witch in there to kill her husband, right? Because she couldn't do it herself, like the dude's jacked, right?
Yeah.
So like maybe that would be a logical way, but no, she actually trusts this girl. Like, think about the steps that would need to happen in order for this to take place. Like, they roll up to these people's like home, basically, kill all the men, kill every man that they know and love, and was probably, upkeeping their culture, whatever little shitty culture it was right there out in the desert. Then they ground up the children, and they tell all the women, we are going to enslave you. We're going to enslave you for the rest of your lives. Aren't you so grateful to us that we're going to enslave you for the rest of your lives? And then she decides to pick the leader one, probably the most suspicious looking one, by the way. Like the most suspicious, if I had to pick anybody in that crowd that looks evil, it's Mary Mazdur. She's like, I think you're the one that's going to help me save my husband's life.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how stupid is that? And by the way, Danny, I understand that preventing grape of women is like a good thing to do. But you know what I think is a better thing to do? Preventing murder wholesale, like senseless murder. No love for the men of the village. Like, you're not going to help save the men's lives. Like, wouldn't they be more productive additions to the Dothraki force? Like, why not keep them as slaves? Guarantee they could do more manual labor. Like 10 out of 10 more manual labor.
Yeah, the whole Mary Mazdur, her logic and all of that makes no sense at all. And then she's mad that, like, what'd you do to my husband? Now he's like, you know, the Dothraki fuck doll we talked about in our video.
Oh,
like,
dude, yeah, he is.
He just breathes. That's it. Yeah, she's mad at her, and it's like, dude, Danny, did you even think for like 10 seconds what someone would do in this situation? And okay, in the books, she's 14, a little more understandable, a little more, but still, that's not like huge, you know, leaps of logic going, I just killed your whole village. Can you now help me with my husband, who's the leader of this tribe that's come and killed all of you guys? Killed all the men, enslaving you guys, about to grape you?
It's like, do you think, like, even from her perspective, does she believe that the women of that village, even if Daenerys herself is going to treat these women very well, which might be the case, right, are all these women going to be like, what, in a tent with her all the time? Like, no, they're not. They're going to be amongst the Dothraki people. And you're insane if you think these Dothraki aren't going to be, you know, stealing a grape or two, plucking a grape off the vine here and there, you know, when Daenerys isn't looking. Like, absolutely, it's going to happen. So, yeah, this is not like it's not a favor. This is not a favor to them. They're not going to see it like that. A 14-year-old should be able to understand simple cause and effect, and that goes for the graping thing, too. Khal Drogo taking her to pound school against her will, you know, involuntarily, just like doing that to her. She's going to remember that, and she's going to remember all this time. How many months do you think went by here? Like 6 months, 8 months, something like that? Maybe even it's only 3 months, right? She's spending nights with Khal Drogo. She's getting to know him. She learned his language. I guarantee you, like 95% of what Khal Drogo talks to her about are like war stories and conquests. And throughout these stories, he's definitely going to talk about his graping conquest too. It's a part of their culture. And especially if she's never shown any kind of aversion to it till now, she would have heard so much about all this stuff. Mary Mazdur, graping, it's all ridiculous.
And the whole prophesized baby she's about to have, Danny, is going to be the stallion that mounts the world. Like, mounting... a stallion mounting something is very sexually charged. Correct me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah.
You know, correct me if I'm wrong here in the comments, guys. You know, it's the stallion that mounts the world sounds very grape, you know, coded. So I'm thinking, you know, her saying, I'm going to give birth to the biggest graper of all time and is going to grape the whole world. I don't know. I'm thinking Mary Mazdur is like the hero.
Maybe a red flag or two. Just think there. She embraces that shit too. She embraces it. It's unbelievable. It's such a... As we talk about that was not part of our first video, that like maybe she knew somebody in the crowd. Maybe she knew somebody, dude. I'm dead serious. Maybe she knew somebody in this crowd and she has to feign it. And she was giving them faces in the distance, like, don't fucking say anything or else you're fucking dead. You know, so she was never outed. Unbelievable. This is pissing me off, man. I can't stand Daenerys, dude.
No, yeah, it's the first season that's the worst parts about it. And
still portray her like a hero, too. They portray her as like the strategic, intelligent... Yeah, sorry, go ahead. I cut you off.
Well, I was going to say, poor Jorah, you know, in this whole situation. He's like, no, Khaleesi, you must let them, you know, take their prize. They worked so hard. And she's like, no... Stop it, Jorah. Make it stop now. And he's like, fuck. Oh, I got to get between these guys.
Shut up, Jorah. Drive me to my boyfriend's, please. He's like, yes, Khaleesi.
Yeah. Can I keep your socks that you left in the car?
Right. Exactly. Please, can I buy you something, anything?
I almost feel bad for Jorah, but then he does shit like that where he just sits no matter what. But, and again, okay, so she's 16, but... Okay, this other huge point we try to make, and for some reason, I think we're going to go through some of the comments later on, right, that, you know, people could not just understand what we were saying. Okay, let me know. Is this too confusing, right? Danny says, fire cannot kill a dragon. However, no, that's her quote, but I'm saying, however, At no point until the very end of the season does she even like come into contact with fire. And when she says fire does not kill a dragon, her brother was killed by molten gold, which you're not killed by the same way fire does with molten gold. Like when you're killed by fire, most of the time you just die from suffocation, right? Fire does not kill a dragon. She says that to her brother, who's being like dripped like a whole nicely put crown, custom made by Khal Drogo. And he dies because of the heat, not because of the fire. It's not even fire. Why was this so hard to grasp? It's not fire. She says it's fire.
Not. There's from start to finish. We see Dany be immune and resistant to heat throughout the entire thing. And she's either aware of it or she's not. Right? I don't know how she's not. Like she grabs that egg, and then her assistant grabs her Prosy slave. Right? Grabs the egg too.
Yeah.
And she burns her hands immediately. And she's like, "What? Like Khaleesi, you can't touch that. It's way too hot." And Dany just looks at her hands like with this blank look, like, I don't understand. What happened? Are you okay? Are you okay? I'll give your hand a kiss. What
You're
happened?
missing some of the like mouth breathing aspects of.
What happened? Right. Okay. Yeah. So she either understands it or she does not. Meanwhile, you have this tradition, and she buys into it fully, by the way, because she's buying into all of Viserys' shit, right? That he is the dragon. And I guess also thrown into this is that dragons cannot be killed by fire. It has to be a saying, otherwise she wouldn't say it in that like pivotal way, right?
Right.
So she is heat resistant. She understands that the apex Targaryen, whatever, is a dragon. Rhaegar she considers a dragon, by the way, because Jorah...
They call him the last dragon, yeah.
Calls him the last dragon. She's like, yep, dude, that guy was a Chad. That guy was an absolute Chad. He was dropping loads all over the Seven Kingdoms. He was a dragon. And she clearly does not consider herself a dragon, right? She doesn't at that point because she thinks her brother's or maybe just brother is a dragon. But I can't say she's so stupid that she isn't aware of her own heat resistance. I can't say that. That would be unbelievable to say. She has to be at least aware. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird that heat doesn't hurt me. So she has to not directly correlate fire and dragon, correct?
Yeah.
And I guess until that moment where Viserys is gifted that crown so graciously by Khal Drogo, which is nice. And she says, fire cannot kill a dragon. That's not fire, unless she's making the connection. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Mm-hmm. If she could have made the connection right there, potentially, like, oh, fire cannot kill a dragon. Like, I'm the dragon, because fire really only means heat. All heat. If you're resistant to heat, you are a dragon. I am the dragon. But there's some problems with this, too. Later on at the end, she walks into that fire ambiguously, and we don't know exactly why she did. But, okay, listen, strike me down, Dark. Because I'm about to go into the one part that I'm going to reference from the books here. There's a quote in the book when she's thinking about going into this fire, and it says, Dany's lips parted, and she found herself holding her breath. Part of her wanted to go to him, talking about Khal Drogo. Part of her wanted to go to him, as Ser Jorah had feared, to rush into the flames, to beg his forgiveness, and take him inside her one last time, the fire melting the flesh from their bones until they were as one forever. So she wants to go into the fire at that point to literally fuck Khal Drogo's dead body to death, and then they both die, and they both melt together or whatever. So she goes into that fire thinking she's going to die. So, which takes place after the whole situation with Viserys dying. So you understand the contradictions here. Like, she thinks that she's immune to heat, or she doesn't, but then eventually she makes the realization, oh, fire cannot kill a dragon. But then she thinks she's going to die from the fire?
Right. She's really just using fire and heat interchangeably, which then makes her look stupid because they're not the same thing, clearly, right? Because she knew she was going to die in the fire, but she has this heat resistance. And this heat resistance isn't, like, invulnerable, right? Because I think she believes she might... I'm pretty sure George R. R. Martin has stated that her fireproof ability is just, like, resistance. I don't know if it's indefinite. And her ability to... like the heat resistance, not the fire resistance. And the fire resistance was only because it was, like, a blood magic kind of ceremony, and plus the meteor or the bleeding star, is overhead. So I think a lot of, like, magic is more sensitive in this time period within Westeros or, Essos too, whatever, Planetos, whatever you want to call it. So George R. R. Martin has also stated that her ability to be fireproof is not because she just has it. It's because of the blood magic and because of, like, the meteor there as well. So for anyone to go like,
I don't know, man. They did change. Well, they changed it a little bit, right? Because in
the show, right?
Yeah, in the show. That's mainly what we're talking about here. But I do think that quote applies from the book because it's the only context we have of why she would walk into that fire. Because if not, like in the show, if she didn't think she was killing herself there, Why would she go into the fire? Just to melt her clothes off, like sit with Khal Drogo's dead body? Like, she didn't think the dragon eggs were going to hatch. I tell you that right now.
Right.
No way. Yeah. Absolutely not, because those things were just relics. She was saying goodbye to all that stuff. So, yeah, absolutely not. Not to mention, by the way, dude, Rhaegar, they burned his little bitch body at a funeral pyre. So it's like, yeah, I understand. Fire cannot kill a dragon. So maybe she thought, well, it can after you die, like when your spirit leaves your body. Then suddenly it's vulnerable to fire. Like, I don't think so. There's no way this little fucking brainlet thought that far into all this.
Oh, and it's known that Targaryens burn their dead. Even Sam knew
common
that.
practice.
Sam knew that when Aemon dies, he's like, oh, dude, because they're, in the book, I'm saying, they're on like this, I think it's a cinnamon, whatever boat they're heading over to Old Town. And he's like, damn, our Aemon here is dead, and I'd like to burn him. Now he's dead, but I can't because we're on a freaking boat here.
I guess I'll have to eat him.
He does look
he wanted to the whole time.
We saw how many Targaryens died at Summerhall, the tragedy of Summerhall, right?
Yeah,
and they're trying to,
with Aegon the Fifth.
They're trying to bring back dragons to life and hatch them, but things got a little too spicy in the tents.
Hot, too hot.
And the other thing, we didn't talk about this in our original video, but it needs to be said, and maybe we'll do a whole video on it. I don't know how we could do a whole video on it, but we might as well just say it here. Dany's little prosty slave, right? She goes through this whole reasons why, or like how you seduce a man and stuff. And she talks about the woman in, is it Lyce? That, I forgot what her name was, but that she could make a man finish with just her eyes, and that other men would sell their kingdoms just to get one night with this woman. How ridiculous is that? I mean, that's almost as unbelievable as that the moon is like a dragon egg, or what was that thing they talked about that hatches, and that's how... like the origin of the moon. I forgot what it was, the whole story that they're
No, it's true. No, you're right, though. She's telling Daenerys this, and Daenerys is just gobbling it up. She's eating it. Her eyes are wide, clearly absorbing information like a young school child, and she's not having any doubt with any of it. She's like, holy shit, are you serious? And this process, like, yeah, I am 100% serious. Like, God damn, that is some talent. I want that in my life because I believe it's real. What a fucking idiot. Absolutely
idiot. Well, and also there might be this huge amount of simps in Essos. Let's not put that out of question, right? There could be a really bad epidemic of simps.
It could be. I mean, given how many there are in Westeros and like how much of like a more structured culture that is, generally speaking, I can only assume it's more so in Westeros, man. Or Essos.
Okay, so, all right. So we're going to go through some of the negative comments we got, which is like, we don't care. We replied almost every single one of these negative comments. And we like hearing anything you guys have to say. So leave a negative comment on this video.
Dude, absolutely. We talk about it a lot. We actually really like the hate too, like legitimate hate too. So if you're watching this and you don't like it, please tell us in the harshest words possible. But again, if you're watching it and you like it, be positive. Tell us your true feelings. But if you don't like this shit, man, let us know, dude.
Also, let us know if you want us to go through. We could do a video. Maybe it's like a members video or something where we'll go through the comments of our videos. Could be interesting. Us just like going through and roasting people because they are enjoyable comments. But I just want to go through some of the negative, dumb arguments they've made on our original Danny video, which everyone should go watch. But this one is the gold was heated by fire and it killed him. Yeah, we know. Like the gold, the gold killed him, not the fire.
I appreciate that, man. I mean, even if it was fire, it's like thank you for just telling me what happened in the show. I needed that.
I love the way you guys talk, plus the constant over the top sexist humor. Ugh, and dude,
you're welcome.
So you enjoyed it. And then this was a pretty recent comment, happened 5 days ago, but just say you hate women and move on. Listen, we don't hate women, we both are married to women, okay? Yeah. We just hate dumb women.
Yeah, correct, absolutely. I hate dumb women. I like
just like we hate
smart women, yeah.
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh, okay. I'm okay with them.
Yeah, I'll tolerate them. Another one is... you are a genuine weirdo, which is always funny whenever we get those comments because there's two of us, Whenever they just single us out,
they listened to 10 seconds of the video and turned it off. It didn't watch.
Which is hilarious.
Okay, right, here we go. I'm 90% sure this video is just rage bait material to grow your channel, but if not, the way you think is disgusting, bro. One bro again. Which one of us? Which one was disgusting and which one was fine? We need to know. You need to change something. Like, okay. I don't think so, Tim.
It'd be helpful if they point in the right direction of something we got to change. You got to change something. It's like, damn, okay, well.
Constructive
Staring in the mirror.
criticism, man. We got to yeah, I know. Tell me, please. Tell me. I need to know.
The difference between molten gold and fire isn't the problem. Dany isn't affected by any form of heat, okay? Well, we don't know that. We just...
Okay.
And how many forms of heat are there? I'm not sure. Like,
I need to take physics class from this girl.
Yeah. The burning eggs, the boiling water, or the temperature of the desert heading to Karth, which they're all heat, right? It's just different like degrees of heat.
Yes.
Molten gold wouldn't have either. This might be the most absurd thing in the video. Okay,
This
again,
might be the most absurd. We don't know.
we don't know. Also, the whole thing is, yes, we know she's not affected by heat, but she doesn't say he's not a true dragon because heat doesn't affect a dragon. She's just fire.
Right,
And it's
exactly.
stupid.
She didn't say like fire cannot kill a dragon, neither can heat, because I've just realized I am a dragon and I am heat resistant, which is unique to me. My brother is apparently not this way. Like, that's not what happened. Here's another one. All I got from this video is that you hate women. I like how we constantly...
Which one of us?
yeah, that's true. I like how we constantly forget that Daenerys is still very much a child in season 1 if you want to go the show route. Okay, if we want to go the book route, is that different? She's even younger in the book. She's a literal... Okay, here we go, I guess. Sorry, spoke too soon. She's a literal child in the books. And that's constantly seen through her actions and reactions to things around her. You ignoring that point and calling her stupid and acting as if she brought this abuse and, I can't say that word, upon herself says a lot about you and how stupid you are. Like, dude, did we say that she brought it on herself? I don't think so at all. It's just you're stupid about the response to it and the actions surrounding it. And by the way, I was a guitar teacher for a few years, and with a lot of like 14-year-olds, that age group, they are fully capable of understanding cause and effect and like dealing with the world around them. They're just immature.
Right. And I think the whole thing with, if Dany was to be on board with whole, Khal Drogo, graping all those people and enslaving them, and she's like, I'm full Dothraki now. I don't give a shit. That makes more sense to me because she's fully indoctrinated. But for her to have this like, moment of clarity, being like, wait a second, this has to stop. Knock this off. That's where I pull the what the hell's going on here? I thought she was all about this. She was all about this culture. If you want to say she's a child and being groomed by this horrific culture of grape, then she'd be about it. I don't know why she just has this moment of awakening, seeing it from a third person point of view somehow, and has no reaction to the children at all, but just
right.
the women.
Well, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, they could have revealed this, and then we could have kind of been confused in this same way, but then it could have been revealed. Like, if they wanted to go the route of having this make sense, they could have just had her in the exact same way we saw up to this point, where Mary Mazder's village was, and then when they raided that village, she could suddenly have this issue with the grape. And we as the audience, like we did, would say, like, well, what the hell? Like, why is she suddenly not okay with this? Why is she choosing these women to liberate? What sense does that make? And then we could find out, hidden in the tent, whatever, she could say, like, I am basically being held fucking hostage by these people because my brother sold me into the slave trade, essentially, here as this guy's wife. I need you to do some blood magic and kill this guy. That would have made sense because it's like, okay, she's had a problem with it the entire time. She needed to build up her power and authority, and then she decided to flex it right here and basically take her revenge on her rapist at this moment. That would have been the only way. But I think, I don't think it didn't happen.
Yeah, right. And yeah, we just see the line of logic follow there. And I understand, like, if she's a kid, she's learning like how to interact with this world. With people aren't always looking for the best intentions in one another, even if you do something good for some person. With the whole Mary Mazder, I'm going to save you. Now you help me. It's like, no, people don't act like that. That makes more sense when she's a kid, but also it makes more sense as she, if she was making more mistakes up to that point. But for her to think like, yeah, I'm fully bought on this culture, and then I don't know. Again, she's just dumb. And you go like, oh, she's just a kid, but it's like, no, she's in the book. She's a kid. In here, she's 16, and like maybe 17 at this point. You got to know a little bit better about like cause and effect, like you said. Come on. I
don't believe it. I don't believe it. It's the issue.
And if she's so traumatized, how does she also just become this very competent leader later on? As she goes through, what is it? The House of Undying. She goes to get the Unsullied. Right. She understands everything. I don't know. Like, she must just be the most miraculous, like, Mary Sue character if she's somehow a victim in this one situation we're talking about, and then later on is able to overcome it without seeing any sort of, like, I don't know, internal conflict. Or what would it have to be for her to, like, also overcome it? Like, longer progression?
Yeah, I mean, if it was just if it was a slower burn, maybe we could see that. But it's just, and I guess time does pass by. It's just it doesn't seem, they don't emphasize the trauma at all, and I don't think it's enough when you're in some kind of a series like this. It's not enough to just claim as an audience member like, well, we saw her go through this experience in episode 1. I know we didn't see any repercussion from that, but we can just assume that she was traumatized, like how some humans in real life would be. It's like, no, you can't say that. We need to see it because, you know, whether or not people like it, there are people in real life who actually experience horrible, horrific things, and they're actually successfully able to, like, compartmentalize it, like, work through it in their own head. You know, that actually does happen. So if we don't see it, like an active response to this or whatever in the show, I'm going to assume that it didn't affect her that much, especially considering that the reality is she fell in love with Khal Drogo, and not even like long after his death, she still respects the shit out of him, right? It's not like it was like a Stockholm syndrome thing. In reality, it was not, where she is in love with him and then he dies, and then way later, you know, she's chatting up both Giga Chad and Soy Boy Dario, both actors, about how, like, oh, dude, I knew this guy and I thought I was in love with him. Turns out he was a huge piece of shit, and I'm glad he's dead. Like, that didn't happen. She was not that traumatized. Straight up, was not.
And people will use the excuse, which I'm sure if someone's commented about this, they won't get this far in the video, but I'm sure they'll use the excuse that, but Viserys was such a horrible older brother to her, which I don't even know if that's the case. We might do a video like Justice for Viserys III. Like, he maybe wasn't all that bad. People put that on, but
you add 20 pounds of muscle to his frame. What do you that's changes your whole perspective of this guy. Keep his actions exactly the same.
That is true. But also, she is raised by potentially this horrific older brother, Viserys, right? And then later on, she is somehow, like, traumatized by Khal Drogo. Like, listen, I thought the traumatizing part probably would have been with Viserys. And then maybe Drogo is just a kind of a different part. But I don't know. I don't see why it would be that big of a, you know, traumatizing event if you're trying to tell me that living with Viserys is traumatic, and then the Khal Drogo thing is even more, like, horrific, even though that she learns to love him. And people actually like that relationship, you know? Like, show watchers like that relationship.
Yeah, they do. They do. And maybe you shouldn't or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
But, I don't know. I have no idea. All we know is people like it. And guess what? She liked it too.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and smash that like button.
Or not. We don't care.